What stood out immediately to us is just how mainstream AI-powered search has become, which probably is not a surprise at this point. But half of prospective students are using AI tools at least weekly to search for information, with 25% using it at least daily. And we expect that will only increase over time. So we're not talking about early AI adoption anymore. This is normalized search behavior. And for institutions, what this means is that AI is not a future consideration. It's already shaping how prospects gather information today. So if your brand is not visible in these tools or your strategy still assumes Google-only search behavior, you could be missing out on potentially reaching half of your audience. Now, despite the rise of AI, traditional search engines and university websites still play a dominant role, as you can see. Over half of prospects say that they're extremely likely or very likely to use Google or Bing, and they'll still go to your website to find trusted information and to convert. And social media also plays a strong supporting role. But what we're starting to see here is that students are just slightly more likely to use AI search engines and AI chatbots than they are to use social media to find information about educational programs. And even though they're not the top platforms yet, these chatbots and search engines are meaningful parts of the discovery process. So the key point is that when searching for professional and continuing ed programs, prospects are using multiple tools to generate search results. And with AI layered directly on top of those search results, that's what makes your AI visibility all the more important. And when I say AI layered on top of search results, this is what we mean here. Even when students use Google, the first thing they see is an AI-generated answer or that AI overview. And this is already shaping trust, and it's narrowing the options that are put in front of prospective students. So even though we know that students still rely on institutional websites, their first impression of your institution may actually come from this AI-generated summary.
AI is more likely to surface your university or your programs for a topic that you care about when your institution appears more often and more consistently across the web in relation to that topic. Under the hood, getting a little bit technical, these systems are predicting what's most likely to come next based on patterns that they have seen before. And so over time, repetition about your brand shapes how AI understands and describes your programs. So, how do you really create that repetition? That's where AI SEO comes in, and we break that down into three pillars. For years, we talked about SEO as keywords, content, and links. Our approach to AI SEO is updated to account for how LLMs read and understand the web and your brand. So, the first pillar of AI SEO is entities. Entities help AI recognize your brand, programs, and thought leaders through clear, consistent language and structured data. The second pillar is semantic relevance, which, if you're optimizing for semantic relevance, you're optimizing for meaning rich content that reflects how people really search. So nowadays, that's answering questions, and you're also connecting related topics, like connecting blog posts to your program pages and providing helpful context. The third is citations. So universities must build brand level and program level trust through mentions and references from authoritative sources. Yes. So you want to think about your social media in the same way that you think about publishing content on your own website. Each post should really feel like its own small standalone article. So social is a really great place where you can reinforce that language that Will talked about, along with your perspective and the signals that you want AI to associate with you. And so an easy way to do this is by turning a blog post or a program page into a carousel post or a YouTube video. And so you're essentially taking the same information and presenting it in that native format, the format that is native to that platform, so people don't have to click through to your website. So you can do this on LinkedIn, Instagram, YouTube, really any platform where the audience is active and that is crawled by Google and the AI engines. You may know that in the last 6 months, Instagram made their platform crawlable. It was not crawlable before. Instagram posts did not rank on Google. Now they do. So that's a really big change. I mean, from our perspective, the reason they did that was so that AI engines could get into all of their Instagram information and surface that stuff in AI answers. And so the goal of publishing on social is It gives you a place that you can consistently republish and reinforce your content, your perspective, and those like semantic triples, like Will said, across those channels.
A question we get a lot is, how do I make sure my content shows up in AI? The more technical pages like course catalogs and schedules are usually fine. The ones that need the most help are often those that are trying to tell a story. Program pages, articles, and blogs. There are a few themes worth calling out. Clarity. AI responds best when content clearly names what a program is, who it's for, and what outcomes look like. Vague or marketing heavy language tends to get skipped over. Structure. Content that's well organized with clear heading sections and summaries is easier for AI to extract and understand. And finally, credibility. Mentions, references, and signals of authority reinforce trust. If you think about content like this, you'll be more likely to get included. Once your content is clear and structured, authority gets reinforced through references across the web. One of the great things about higher ed websites is that you have a lot of built-in authority, but there's still value in assuring that the individual authors and programs have their own authority. Some of your tried and true methods of promotion are also great for AI. You just need to be intentional about the language you use. Each mention reinforces how your institution and the people in it are understood. These references add up and shape how AI systems recognize and describe you. So ask yourself before you hit submit or send, does this clearly indicate what we do and for whom? So basically, everything about you online impacts what AI understands about your programs. You have way more control over your AI visibility than you realize. You produce and publish so much, you have many opportunities to influence what AI says about you. Of course, there's your own site, program pages, blog posts, articles, newsroom, your homepage. Then there's other websites, like Paula mentioned before, social, YouTube. I'm going to put an exclamation point next to YouTube because it's not just the second most used search engine, it's also typically among the top handful of AI citations. News sites, appearances, directories, best of lists, even mail and paid ads campaigns can help. They tell users how to search for you, right? Because those same ways that you're talking about what we do and for whom, if you're doing that within your email and ads, you can actually start to influence search. Start with what you own, your own website, make sure it's findable and readable, and then move forward from there. Somewhere between now and Skynet, we're all going to start interacting with the internet in a much more mediated way. Today, we're searching, we're prompting, we're still very much in that kind of search methodology. Though what we're seeing is that the length of queries are getting longer and longer, even when they're on a traditional search engine. But what's coming next, and by next, I mean like, a couple of weeks ago next, is there are platforms where you can express a need and they will do the work to get you all the way to the point of transaction. ChatGPT has been testing with this for a while. There's one that a lot of people weren't talking about until Meta bought them called Manus, and these are agentic platforms. The reason that these are such a, let's call it opportunity, is that they are doing all of the research in the background and delivering to you only a finite, very small set of potential responses, sometimes only one. Claude has launched in the last 3 or 4 weeks a bunch of features where you can actually talk to Claude living on your desktop from your phone. It can go and it can scan through your email for you. It can write a document for you, all on your desktop or laptop machine, but you're activating it from Slack or some other channel. There's another product that's gotten a huge amount of noise in my circles. Wall Street Journal wrote an article about it, and Jensen Huang talked about it in his NVIDIA keynote. So it's getting some play called OpenClaw. And what OpenClaw is it's basically a chat interface to any AI feature that you want. And similar to the stuff that Claude just released, it has for the last couple or 3 months had the ability to take physical control of your computer and do things for you. So I believe really strongly that within 18 months, whether they're using it or not, everyone will have the ability to engage with agentic AI through the device which is most local to them, which is this. Everything we're talking about in the context of AI search is the scaffolding for agentic search. if the machines can't understand who you are and what you do, and the human isn't in the loop as it is today, then you are absolutely invisible. It will be binary in the extreme. You show up or you don't.